very much enjoy these incredible, talented poets that we have. And thank you, Nave, for doing this. And thank you for Leaf Global Arts for having us.
Yes, well, we're really thrilled. And for those of you listening on Facebook Live, as I did mention, we do have the prize, first place prize of $500 for the winner, and then the second place prize of $250. Now we have 12 poets. What are we going to do with the other 10 poets who have no prize money? Well, we can solve that problem, and we can do that collectively. My website is jamesnave.com. Nave is spelled Nave. If you go to that website, you will see all of these poets on this screen tonight featured on the cover page of that website. And right in the middle of that page, you will see a little button that says donate. And you can go to my PayPal account, the Writing Salon, and you'll see my little picture there, and you can make a donation. Your participation is payment enough. And if that's all you can afford, then we are really happy to have you, because we can't do this without you. If you have some means, our suggested donation is $15. So if you can afford that, we would love to have some contributions come in, and I will divide those contributions up and split them with the 10 poets. So everybody will get a little bit of something to take home with them for their effort in this participation. So the slam belongs to all of us. The spoken word community is a large, beautiful community, and we have 12 fantastic members in this community right now. So what I would like to do is start this poetry slam. And the poets are lined up and they're ready to go. And I have an order. Here's the order. I won't even tell you what the order is, but you will see these poets when they come up. But in order for us to get the judges used to this, and we have 5 judges, Ace and Adi, we have Erica, we have Farhad, we have Cynthia, and Stacey. Now these judges are on the screen and you can see them as well. And when they speak, they will pop up, and they're waving now. So if you're on gallery, you can see them. And if you're on speaker view, you can only see me. So you can go back and forth on that. Although in Facebook Live, that's not the case. It's Cherie, they're only seeing me right now. Is that right? Okay,
correct.
Cherie. And when you say correct, your face pops up. So say hi to everybody, Cherie.
Hi.
Okay, there's Cherie. All right. Thank you. So what we're going to do is you will see the faces pop up. So judges, your faces will pop up when you give the scores. So what I'm going to do right now to start the slam is I'm going to perform a poem, and the judges, I want you to give me a score 0 to 10, like a diving match. And then that will be the beginning score, and you'll be used to it. And then our first poet up is Tori Scheinman, and then Tori will dive in, and we will go from there. So here's my poem, and I will begin. So Cherie, introduce me.
Up first, we have the Slam Master Guru. We have an educator, master storyteller, man of all facets, Mr. James Nave.
Oh my gosh! Well, nobody else will get that much recognition, but I really do appreciate it. Here's the poem. Hundreds of Harleys have invaded Taos this Memorial Day weekend. The bikers, they're mostly men with gray in their beards, ride their hogs, feet propped above power-stoking engines that boom through silver pipes, past Taos Gems and Minerals, Song's Asian Restaurant, and Anthony Lopez's law office. You know, Harleys were roaring through Taos long before Dennis Hopper and Peter Fonda rode easy over the Rio Grande Bridge looking for adventure and a place to smoke and lightning into the 21st century where they would never grow old. Like the bikers this weekend. Helmets be damned. These cats are riding with their souls free out of the long road that always curves through Sunday morning. They lean into the warm air, never noticing how their shadows ripple across fence post, barbed wire, and no trespassing signs. Judges, tabulate your scores. Ace and Audi, what score do you give Nave? Come off mute, please. Come off mute. You don't need to hold it up. You could just call it out.
Okay. We give it 8.
8. Okay. Erica, what do you give me?
8.3.
8.3. Farhad, what about you?
9.4.
Oh my gosh, I got a good score. Cynthia, what do you have?
8.
And Stacey?
8.8.
Okay, Kurt, drop the high, drop the low, and tell me how I did. And Teresa's clapping.
That's a 25.1.
I got a 25.1. So judges, here's how this works. If a poem does something to you more than what that poem did, then you give it a higher score than the one that you gave me. If somebody knocks your socks out and they go, my God, Nave did good, but whoa, this person really is great, then you give them a higher score. But if they drop below what happened with me, then you give a lower score. So wherever you are in that score that you gave this time, that's the score I'd like for you to start working with. And then you'll figure this out as you go. So are we ready to begin our first round? Here we go, ladies and gentlemen, friends, and everybody else out there. Please welcome Tori Scheinman. You're on, Tori.
Thank you. So there's been these school shootings, and some people out there have suggested that we should start arming teachers to protect our children. As an educator, I've got some thoughts on that. The most violent thing that we do to our kids is budget cuts. Education is on the front line, and it always takes the hit. We cut access to after-school programs and then act baffled when students start cutting class, start cutting themselves. Every time a teenager slashes her wrist, we slash the budget, and education takes the hit. So ready, aim, fire another teacher. But don't they know semi-automatic weapons can kill more people per second? When you overcrowd the classrooms, it's a public safety issue. The budget cuts, and education takes the hit. And the first programs to go, it's everything related to expression of self. Our government is spending more money on artillery than art. We exchange wood shop for metal detectors, trade out recess to prevent recession. We eliminate dance class and music education until the only thing left on the airwaves is a dog whistle. Can you hear it? Like, I'm not trying to harp on the issue. It's just that our daughter doesn't sing in the shower anymore. Her smile is trapped in a lockbox, and I think the key might be left somewhere on the piano. She used to play the saxophone, but now she plays alone, snapping sexy pictures on her phone, and I tap, tap, tap on the door, but dance class was canceled. We don't dance here anymore. The jig is up. Our kids used to raise their hands, but now they're bearing arms. We used to tell them to aim high, and now we're teaching them to duck. I can see the ending that they're trying to write. It is right in my line of sight. It's like if these kids can just survive somehow, well, then they'll graduate from the revolver to the revolving door. It's this bulletproof, self-reinforcing cycle where poverty can feed right back into itself. Well, I'm going to level with you because I've always been a straight shooter. I am pissed off about the pistols. And if one more person offers me hopes and prayers, well, I might just go ballistic. So you want to know if I think that we should start arming teachers to protect our children? My answer is yes. But don't arm them with guns. Stop slashing the education budget and arm our teachers with the resources that we need to teach.
Thank you, Tori. All right, judges, can you give us a score for that? Ace, Adi, what score will you be giving Tori? Come off mute, please. Come off mute, please.
7.7.
7.7. All right, Erica, how about you? What score will you be giving Tori?
8.8.
8.8. Farhad, what's your score?
9.5.
9.5. Cynthia, how about a score from you?
9.
All right. And Stacey, how about a score from you?
9.
9. Kurt Hardesty's dropping the high and dropping the low. Can you give us the score, Kurt?
That's a 26.8.
Okay. 26.8 for Tori. CB Barker, you are up next. CB, please welcome him to the screen. Come off mute, CB.
Thanks, Nave. A letter to myself 10 years ago. Hey, you. Yeah, you. You're a fool. An ignorant fool. No, really, you're a stupid, ignorant, racist fool. Oh, you don't know you're racist. And it'll be a few years before you figure that out. But you're raised to be colorblind, can't see past your privilege generation, thinks the X stands for Malcolm, thinks itself radical when it braves the rain for a few hours in protest, yet scatters when the skies grow dark, like when surrounded by black skin. I have never claimed to be a revolutionary. Reject labels like activist, because to try on such terms would be a discredit to the men and women who wear them like flesh. I am offering my words because they are the bare minimum of what I can do, and I know that is something you can relate to. You see, the problem with our generation is that we thought the war had been won, marveled at our grandparents' medals, told ourselves we don't see race, and erected museums to celebrate our colorblindness when the only thing we were blind to were the communities we bulldozed to build them. Had the audacity to suggest that not seeing a people who have largely felt invisible is a good thing. Each breath only meant to homogenize, not recognize. And even now we run victory laps for symbolic gestures as if we can wipe out racism with a white hero and a happy ending. But the second the film stops rolling, the audience goes home. This letter is not meant to personally attack or shame you. It is an acknowledgement that I too am part of the problem. Each day I learn from my missteps, and I'm trying to save you from making the same. Sometimes our only job is to listen. But your super sensitive, overly defensive, porcelain white devil's advocate mindset is the reason the term white fragility exists. Your whiteness isn't under attack. What your whiteness represents is under attack. And regardless of whether or not you've actually uttered the words, your all lives matter mindset is factually incorrect when there are people dying silent deaths in our streets. This is about inequity, not equality. For 400 plus years, Black Americans have only asked for a level playing field. In all of professional sports, Michael Jordan is the only Black owner, and there are actual people saying, but what about us? If you take the time to step out from behind your TV and see what the world looks like without a white rose-colored LCD, you'll see ignorance and irony. Like building a wall to prevent people from trespassing on stolen land. And I realized that as a white male, this must be a tough pill to swallow and difficult to understand. But for once in your life, it's not about you.
Thank you, CB. All right, and the poets are clapping for CB. For those of you who are out there watching on Facebook Live, we're going back and forth with the images from the people who are speaking, which we will begin with our judge, Stacey. Stacey, do you have a score you'd like to give us? And Kurt will write that down.
8.9.
8.9 for CB. Cynthia, what do you offer up for CB?
9.
Get a 9. Farhad, how about you? Come off mute, Farhad. You're off mute, please. Oh, he forgot to come off mute. These are the things that happen on
9.4.
9.4. Erica, what do you have?
9.2.
A 9.2. And Asanati, how about you? Can you give us something?
8.8.
8.8. All right. Kurt's going to drop the high score and drop the low. I can't say score. Score. Drop the high, drop the low, score. What do you have there, Kurt Hardesty?
27.1.
A 27.1. Is that right? 27.1. Okay, great. Ed Mabry, you're up next. Please welcome Ed. He's ready to roll, I see. Go ahead, Ed.
And the cow goes
moo. The sheep go, baa. Your bed goes, why even get up? Your pillow goes, I'm the best friend you've got. The window goes, do me a favor and lift me up before you jump out. The concrete goes, I didn't ask to have your body here. The pills go, I'm the best lover you've never met before. The razor goes, you know there's other places I can go aside from your neck. Your hair goes, no matter how long you grow me, I still won't become a noose. The belt goes, you can do the Robin Williams thing if you want. You've told a couple jokes on a comedy stage. No one will ever think and know the difference. The food goes, put me inside you and you'll feel much better. Your stomach goes, don't look at me. I've been here for a while. This ain't nowhere near my fault or responsibility. Your mother goes, we don't really discuss that in the family. Your friends go, hey, I need you for conversation and lifting up. I don't have time to check and see if you are actually feeling better. Your community goes, Black people don't get the, and you don't say the word. You say, I'm sad. You say, I'm having a bad day. You say, I don't feel too hot. You say, there's been things on my mind lately. I didn't have anyone particular to speak to. You say, I can't afford therapy, even during COVID times. And COVID says, hey, at least I gave you an excuse to be away from everybody. And everybody goes, hey, you seem to be doing okay because last time we saw you, you had a smile on your face. And your bed goes, look, it ain't getting no better than this. Just lay on down. And that's the thing about being older and Black and depressed, as if you didn't have enough strikes on your body and your system as it is that rule number one is if you're Black and depressed, that you don't speak about depression. Rule number two is if you're Black and depressed, then you're Black. And ain't that synonym for depressed these days? The officer goes, hey, I can put you out your misery if you want to, but you count yourself lucky I ain't picked you yet. The Grim Reaper goes, yo, we got enough of you down here. I'm tired of sad motherfuckers down here. Your dick goes, hey, just fuck them all and let God separate the rest of them. Your heart goes, I didn't ask to be here in the first place. It's my job to be, not to make you feel better. Everything you stream online and watch goes, I'm just entertainment. Your life is your responsibility. Your last ex goes, thank God I got out of there before the landmines started to pop beneath my feet. Your feet go, why are you even using us? Your toothbrush goes, why even waste time if you're not going to smile more often than actually mean it? Your God goes, I'm sorry, please call back again at a different time. Our connection calls are full at this time. And depression goes, hey, why don't you come back to bed? Hi, my name is Ed Mabry, and I'm sad sometimes, but you know, the cow goes moo, and the sheep go by.
Thank you, Ed. Thank you, Ed Mabry. All right, poets are giving some hand claps for those of you out there in Facebook land. I'm sure you're clapping too. Ace and Audie, what do you have for Ed, please?
10.
Say?
A 10.
Ed gets a 10. Erica, what do you have?
10.
Ed gets another 10. Farhad, how about you? What do you have?
9.9.
A 9.9. Cynthia, how about you? What do you have?
9.8.
And Stacey?
9.4.
9.4. Okay, drop the high, drop the low. Here's a couple of 10s in there, so that's going to be a high score. What do we have, Kurt?
It's a 29.7.
29.7 for Ed. Will that keep him in the round? There's a pretty good chance it will. And next up, please welcome Jerry Hardesty to the screen. Jerry, you're on.
This is actually a rhymed and metered form poem, contrary to slam convention. The form is called In Memoriam Stanzas. She was my hero. We kept our vigil day and night those last 2 weeks before she died. And through that time with heart, we tried to find the words and say them right. She barely seemed to be aware. The drugs to stop her pain were strong. We played her music, sang along. I think that she knew we were there. She'd been my hero all my life, protecting us with all her might. She lived to share her loving light as daughter, sister, mother, wife. On Sunday, as the stars winked on, we closed our eyes to catch a nap. The nurse awoke me with a tap to tell me that my mom was gone. I touched her face to say goodbye. Her perfect skin is now white as fleece. Good night, sweet princess. Rest in peace. In state of shock, I couldn't cry. In hindsight, though, I cannot doubt her final act of love so deep. She waited till we fell asleep. She tucked us in and tiptoed out.
Jerry Hardesty. Judges, can you give us a score? We'll start with Stacey this time. Stacey, what do you have for Jerry?
8.6.
8.6 for Jerry. Cynthia, can you give us something for Jerry, please?
8.1.
8.1. Farhad, how about you?
9.1.
9.1. Erica, how about you?
8.
An 8. And Asanati, what about you?
9.2.
9.2. Drop the high, drop the low. What do we have for Jerry, Kurt? Come off. You're still on mute, Kurt. You're on mute, Kurt.
25.8.
25.8 for Jerry Hardesty. Okay, Roscoe Burnhams, you're up next. Please welcome Roscoe to the screen.
I kiss my son. I kiss my son on the forehead, on the cheek. And look, he's a baby right now. But I'm gonna kiss him the first time he pees in a potty all by himself. At 6, I'm gonna kiss his scraped knee when a bike ride becomes a bull ride. He'll get a peck atop of his head every day before school. At 12, when the first person he puppy loves dogs him, when a flood breaks from his eyes, I will kiss him dry. At 17, I'm gonna kiss him before prom and tell him he's gorgeous. At 18, give him a smooch before he graduates. I kiss my son because, well, honestly, it's because kids are always kind of embarrassed when their parents kiss them, and I just really love embarrassing my children. I kiss my son because I kiss my daughter, but that's not a poem. Because we're encouraged to kiss daughters. Cradle, coddle, give them all the affection, but not our sons. No, we punch our sons in the shoulder, in the chest. You man up, you go hard, you be a stone, a wall, but not like Stonewall Rebellion 1969, because see, that would be gay. And you know how fathers are. You know how fathers are scared for their sons to be gay or to be anything different than their assumptions because we are lied to, because we are lied to and told that sensitive means soft, or that soft means feminine, or that feminine means weak. Fathers are expected to chisel their sons into gargoyles, these sculptured monsters, and make concrete of their sexuality, their depression, their sexuality, their depression, make them a fluid, forgotten center. I kiss my son because my mother couldn't kiss me, because my mom had to be a dad. I kiss my son because my dad was never around to kiss me or hold me or tell me I'm beautiful. Not that he would have anyway. I mean, he comes from a time where manliness gets cut from affection, and patriarchy has always pulled the strings, making men these hyper-masculine marionettes who boulder their fists or grab their crotch or try to puppeteer women. Masculinity, so fragile, but held in the hands of men who only crush and violate, but not my son. He will not grow up in that crater of manhood that I am still climbing out of, where the threat of emasculation is an earthquake looming around every shaky compliment, where even a hug is a tremor, where I love you is a fault line, dividing men, where fathers won't even embrace their son's cheek for fear of cracking his face like crust, where the male ego gets built like a castle, but could crumble with just a kiss.
Thank you, Roscoe. And those of you out there listening, if you would like to make a donation to the 10 poets who will not be winning prizes, jamesnave.com, Nave spelled N-A-V-E. And on the homepage, you will see right in the middle of the cover a little button that says donate, and we do appreciate your attention in that respect. Judges, let's get some scores. Stacey, how about you? What do you have for us?
9.1.
A 9.1. Cynthia, how about you for Roscoe? What are you giving Roscoe?
8.9.
8.9. And Farhad, what are you going to give Roscoe?
9.2.
9.2. Erica, how about you? Give us something.
9.2.
9.2. And Asanati, what do you have?
10.
A 10. All right. Drop the high, drop the low. And what do we have?
That's a 27.5.
27.5 for Roscoe. Justin Blackburn, you're next. Please join us on the screen. Welcome, Justin Blackburn.
Thank you. Christians fucked up God for me. I wasn't a murderer. I wasn't throwing covet thy neighbor's wife orgies. I was a kid told I was born in sin for being alive. How does that make sense? Oh shit, here comes the guy who tells you you're burning in hell if you question anything else. Shut up, it just does. Now you better give your life to God's only son, or boy, you better run because the devil's coming. God's only son, who am I, God's adopted cousin? You're a born sinner, and Jesus died on the cross to save your life. Hold up, I'm going to go back in time. Jesus, get down, we're good. You don't have to die for me. Boy, that's blasphemy. And if you don't accept Christ, you're going to burn for eternity. I'm 9. That seems intense, but I'll listen. What's confusing me the most is you Christians. Jesus says love your neighbor, yet you hate him if he's gay. Jesus says don't judge, yet y'all are as racist as the KKK. Jesus says give to the poor, yet all you care about is getting rich. Jesus says have a pure heart, all you got in there is a sales pitch. Now, Jesus, on the other hand, I relate to him, but you're not me. Shallow breather on his knees talking, Lord, I'm so unworthy. I want to be the long-haired, chill angel saying, relax, ask, and you shall receive. Forget needing someone else to believe. I want my own superpowers. Fuck fake grape juice crackers. I want to raise the dead and drop their face off into their own graveyard flowers. But that meant that I was crazy. That got me locked in an institution. That means my ass has to suck down Wellbutrin. But I'm not going to live for your unconscious confusion, so fuck it. Drop me off into the darkness of your delusion and I will be lost. But I will find that light of absolution because it's not shining from no ghost or up there in the stars. It is blinding my eyes from inside my own heart. As I walk my mind through the hellfire of the Southern Baptist Church, my eyes are focused on God's divine unconditional love and my own inherent worth. So don't tell me I need a savior and save your phony prayer pity. I save myself from the psychosis of your religious toxicity. And yeah, I got trauma to heal, but I can call on Jesus if I need him. But you wouldn't know Christ if you started to bleed him. So even though you tried to make your hell mine and take my God from me, my God is forever within, and we're having an orgy around my light and my fire for all of fucking eternity.
Jason Blackburn, the poets are clicking and clacking and clapping, and the judges, we do appreciate you taking the time to do this, judges. We couldn't do it without you. Erica, how about you? What do you give Justin?
A 9.
Justin gets a 9. Ace and Audie, how about you? What are you giving Justin?
9.8.
A 9.8. Farhad, chime in. 10. Okay. Cynthia, what do you get?
8.
I'm sorry?
8.
An 8. And Stacey?
9.5.
A 9.5. Dropping the high, dropping the low. And Kurt, come off mute. What do you have, my friend?
That's a 28.3.
28.3. And like I said, if you all want to make a little bit of a donation, jamesnave.com is where you can go. We do appreciate that help. And the next poet to the screen is Theresa Davis.
Thank you. Manifesto. There are things that will not be disputed or argued away, or touched with hands that claw or pull or assumed out or into me, this body, the dark brown black of it, the tooth and nail of it, the 5 decades strong in it, the broken, healed, and ripped at the core of it, the stutter in my stumble, this exploding heart getting my love on everything, this loaded litany of a mouth, the same mouth that punishes, The same mouth that pleasures, the mouth taken out of context, the mouth refusing further colonization of her voice, her story, her truth, the one taking it all back. And this is the part where you try to fill in my blanks with, "You so articulate for a Black woman, so strong for a Black woman, so pretty for a Black woman," as if my power, my beauty, my articulation does not exist unless you say it does, and I will not let you claim this all of me. This is the language of my body, full of everything, including the fear and the anger of it, because it is always there, just under the surface. I stay on top of it. And this is how I do not drown. Thank you.
Theresa Davis. And judges, we'll start with Cynthia. Cynthia, can you give a score, please?
10.
10 for Theresa. And we'll move to Stacey. How about you, Stacey? What do you give to Theresa?
10.
You get a 10 for Theresa. Farhad, what are you giving?
10.
Sorry? 10. Erica.
Wow. A 10.
A 10. And Asanati.
10.
A 10. All right. Well, we don't need to do the math on that. That's 30. So Theresa surges ahead. Drop the high, drop the low. She got 5-10. So she goes out front. Jamon Hill, you are next. Please welcome Jamon to the screen.
Thank you. Hey, look, I pray you catch a wave that doesn't subside. This for the nappy heads in heaven, with a nappy head Christ by their side. I pray you catch a wave that doesn't subside. This for the nappy heads in heaven, with a nappy head Christ by their side. You are light, day breaking through the clouds. Behold, you was born that. Born nappy, born brilliant, born street, born gold, born wave, no cap, born kneeling, born bended knee, born fighting. Behold, angelic, ancestral, athletic, born black, and you black, and we black, and we black, and we black, and that's beautiful. On moms, on pops, on pipes between schools and prisons that we busted, we trusted in our melanin, we better swim. In every wave we caught, in every wave we brought, in every wave they sought, they want our shades, they taught all us to hate our crop, but we grow crowns. Yeah, word to the Afro, can't keep us down. And all the haters, they is clowns. In our wave, they do drown. And we be holy. We be holy. We be born different, built different, build different empires for our children and they children. So speak life, speak right to my community. I give them my light because they believe in me. We flourish, stay blooming, stay planting seeds, stay uplifting, stay gifting, stay family, be holy, be a testament, be excellent, be loving, seek sick, and be they medicine. You better win. I believe that you better win. Be a wave, catch a wave, and you better swim. Be holy. Be holy. And look, may your streets be paved in gold. Pray your whole hood make it home. May your streets be paved in gold. Pray your whole hood make it home.
Jamon Hill, my friends. Farhad, do you have a score for Jamon?
10.
How about Cynthia? What do you have?
9.9.
9.9. Stacey, can you give us a score?
9.3.
How about Ace and Adi? How you have a score for us?
9.8.
And Erica, what do you have?
9.8.
9.8. Drop the high, drop the low. Kurt, what do we have for Jamon?
That is a 29.5.
29.5 for Jamon. All right. Jessica Keene, you are next. Welcome, Jessica, to the screen.
Thank you. When my mother taught me of womanhood, when she prepared me for becoming a woman, she told me only of the blood, the bleeding, the ways that I would suffer quietly, slicing my tongue into ribbons with razor blade teeth. I would grow accustomed to the taste of metal in my mouth. I would learn to give before they could take, and they would take, scratch, claw, tear, and bite, and he would leave me wasted like paper dolls in landfills, and expect me to wipe the spatter from the walls, pluck my teeth from the carpet, carry them out with the waste, and then smile while cooking his dinner. You will learn. You will pretend you love it. You will paste lace over your bruises on your worst days. You will tear yourself open with broken mirrors and scream to gods you're not sure you believe in. You will find that there is not a single part of yourself you wouldn't amputate. Not a single piece of your flesh precious enough to keep. You will find yourself praying to starfish. On your best days, you will convince yourself you chose this. Believe that you have ever had a choice. It's easier this way. My mother readied me for a lifetime of torn dresses and skin knees. It's not safe to be born a girl, to grow up pretty in the faces of some kinds of men. They will make you bleed, she said. And you will sew yourself back up again. There are things in life worse than bleeding, I am sure. We are butterflies, growing old in gilded cages, molecules and constellations. I didn't understand it then. My mother taught me everything she knew about being a woman. The only thing she knew was how to bleed.
Jessica Keene. The slam is moving along. We only have 3 more poets in this round, and then we're going to say goodbye to 6 poets. JamesNave.com, if you'd like to make a contribution to the poets who won't be in the money tonight, you can make it possible for them to be in the money tonight. How about it, Stacey? What do you give Jessica?
8.9.
8.9. And Cynthia, what do you have?
8.
An 8.0. Okay. Farhad, how about you?
9.9.
A 9.9. Erica, what do you offer up?
8.2.
8.2. And Ace and Adi, what do you give Jessica?
9.6.
A 9.6. Kurt Hardesty, we're going to drop the high, drop the low, and see what Jessica's score is. And Jim Dwyer, you're next.
That's a 26.7.
A 26, you say, 0.7? Did I get that right?
Right. That's right.
26.7. My friends, Jim Dwyer is now on the screen. Welcome, Jim.
Thank you, Nabe. COVID pandemic love poem blues number 3. The bleeding will not stop on its own. No one is stranger than the people you know. Nothing is the secret identity of everything. Nothing is simple, singular, safe, spotless, unscarred by the chaos and the crazy. Nothing is harder than trying to wake up, trying to see what's right there, right in front of your eyes. Hell, I'm 70 and still unraveling the mystery of how to sit still, still hoping to learn how to breathe before I die. The bleeding will not stop on its own. I miss the clocks that made noise, the time that told a story about time, even as it was passing. I miss Joe's rattletrap Chevy Bel Air station wagon. I miss packing it with band equipment. I miss the bad gigs, the blue guitars of yesteryear. I miss Margaret's sleepy early morning smile, the dreams she told me about, the ones she kept secret. I miss what's gone for good and never coming back. The bleeding will not stop on its own. Sometimes the world is rock and roll and French kisses, the rain on your face, the mud on your shoes, the taste of a peach, another even better French kiss. Sometimes though. It's more like, wow. Have you seen that new kitten video on YouTube? The one with the paralyzer spray and the cool nuclear accident? Dude, it is absolute awesome. Even better than Feline Death Cult number 17. I mean, that thing is so cute, so funny. I almost had a stroke watching it. Sometimes, hello, hooray, the world is nothing but a blank stare. Sometimes, like right here now, the world is children in cages and exploited labor. Torture defended and sadism exalted, murder a management strategy and justice a joke. Listen, the wells are being poisoned and the seed cord consumed and sweet broken down, Jesus of the bleeding that will not stop on its own. I haven't even mentioned the virus yet, a bad and brutal deal for all of us, no doubt, but it's also a true fact that people of color and indigenous Americans are dying at twice the rate that Caucasians are. And ladies and gentlemen, that racist and virulent true fact is not an accident. It's the direct and intended result of the criminal actions taken and not taken by our scumbag and chief, his scumbag cronies. Listen, I'm not giving away any secret info here. Their plan is as obvious as a dick pic. Like the man said, by their fruits you will know them. Listen, I'm not naive and neither are you. We all understand that a certain amount of suffering and tragedy is unavoidable, that they are the natural consequences of the transient and desire-driven nature of the species Homo sapien. On the other hand, there's this whole other kind of misery, and ladies and gentlemen, there is shit tons of it, and none of it is inevitable, divinely ordained or decreed by the implacable forces of history or the razzmatazz and rat fuckery of the marketplace. Systems of dominance, control, oppression, in which everyone plays a part. Systems whose sole purpose is and always has been the big timing of the few and the screwing of the many. They are the main creators of most of our pain. To say it plain as a paper cut, it's us. We are the culprits. The bad guy is human beings making human decisions for entirely human reasons, which is, I get it, a terrible, terrifying, and nauseating truth to face up to. But then again, if we are the problem, then that means that we are also the solution. And that means that saving some of the future remains possible. And that means that hope is not a pair of rose-colored glasses, that hope is in fact realistic. Listen, there are no saviors, no saints, no superheroes riding, racing, flying to our rescue. What we need most, we can only get from each other. Say that again. What we need most, we can only get from each other. The bleeding will not stop on its own. Thank you.
Jim Dwyer holding forth. Okay. Asenati, what do you give Jim?
7.5.
7.5. Erica, what about you?
8.9.
8.9. Farhad, give us a score, please.
9.9.
9.9. Cynthia, what's your score?
8.
8. And Stacey, how about you?
9.
A 9.0. All right. Kurt, what do you have?
It is a 25.9.
25.9. We have 2 more poets in this round, and we're finished with the first round. We're going to drop 6 poets, jamesnave.com, if you'd like to donate to the poets. And we now have Breeze coming up. Please welcome Breeze to the screen. Breeze, come off mute and come off video.
Thank you. When I was a child, I spoke as a child. I behaved as a child, but when I became a man, I learned to put away childish things. To my stepfather, Reginald Harris, thank you for teaching me how to be a man, showing me the ropes, how to roll with the punches when up against the ropes. You taught me keep my chin out, keep my guard down, be open target for all of your cheap shots, be heavy bag for all of your bad days. You see, apparently, when life makes a man feel unworthy of the title, you having boxing matches with my innocence was the quickest way for you to feel like a champion again. You taught me the Bible with no whisper of scripture, made sure to write your word in all the red and bleeding of me. I remember this one time I was sleeping. I was dreaming of heaven until I was awakened by the wrath of God. In your right hand, I wept like Jesus. And you replied, shut up before I give you something to cry for. And this was the lesson found in Proverbs. You were teaching me what a man slow to anger looks like. Black eye, bruised face, and chipped tooth. Later, you let me stay home from school and brought me a honey bun. The lesson, real men can admit when they're wrong. I returned to school, face bruised with the teachers bribing me to bear it all. But I couldn't. See, round here, snitches get stitches to their shattered spirits when people come around asking too many questions. They would never understand a Black parent's parable, that what goes on in this house stays in this house, that my mother had already started calling me a traitor because I couldn't keep my broken face together long enough before our business starts spilling into the streets. I was told to hold it together, so I did. clamped down into myself like a bear trap. Held my tongue like a seizure victim. I smiled and said nothing, smiled through the pain caused by smiling. And this is the lesson. Real men can't show weakness, right? They hide the pain in their face behind the hurt in their hearts. When you train up a child in your ways, when they get older, they will not depart from the toxic and painful and hurtful you are. And I stayed stuck in your ways. I broke everything. I fought everything. I fight everything in this ring of life with my chin tucked and my guard up, throwing haymakers at hugs, swinging on anything, getting too close just to make up for all the times when I couldn't fight back. You see, apparently, when a boy is taught how to be a man by a male that is not actually grown into a man, the boy becomes an open scar that'll never heal right. So thank you for teaching me what never heal right looks like, for being such a walking hemorrhage that I could look at you and know where to apply pressure to all the bleeding I was. When I was a child, I spoke as a child, behaved as a child, but when I became a man, I got tired of my image being made in your reflection. I opened these fists and finally found love in these palms. I learned to put away your childish ways, the power of forgiveness. And I've granted myself enough to be able to pray that one day you could forgive yourself enough to do the same.
Thank you, Breeze. Getting a big hands. We're getting some donations from some folks. A friend of mine, Anne Marie, and her friend Carolyn put a little bit of money in. So, jamesnave.com. Judges, how about it, Ace and Adi? What do you have for Breeze?
9.8.
All right, Erica, what do you have for Breeze?
9.6.
9.6. Okay, Farhad, turning to you.
10.
10 for Breeze. Okay, Cynthia.
10.
10. And Stacey, what do you offer?
A 10.
Okay, so what's the score for Breeze?
It's 29.8.
29.8. All right. And the last poet in this round, please welcome Kisto Healy to the screen.
Dear Ollie, I wish you'd had more of your daddy's fight and fought a little harder to arrive. But my lovely baby boy, it's all right. I'm going to be there someday to run my hands through your hair and smile at your young face. But I don't want you to wait. Go on, run, play. Because I promise that I'll find you the moment I arrive. And without any amount of luck, that won't be for a long time. Because your daddy's still got a lot that he needs to do here on earth. See, you have a baby brother now that saw his way to birth. And as far as me and your mother go, that doesn't take away the hurt of losing you when we did. But that pain doesn't mean that your brother doesn't need his dad. I love you both equally, because you're both equal me. We both got robbed that night when you weren't brought to life and you went straight towards the light. Now what's it gonna be like when we reunite? Will it be like it should be? Will I still be your dad? And will you be my little kid, or will it be different? Will it be that you're grown up and your life passed and I missed it? That would feel so unfair to me, something I couldn't bear. See, I have these fantasies, some good and some bad. I have no way to know the truth of it all, but you have got to know that I love you through it all. And no matter how it is in the end, you'll always be my little man. And I look forward to the day that I get to hold your little hand. Maybe it's actually because you were my little boy that God took you home straight from the womb. It might be my fault, because if you had ended up like your old man, you might have wound up suffering like he has, with anxiety and depression. If your life had been allowed to start, maybe that life would have been dark, feeling all the pain of the world in your heart. Maybe God saw me in your veins, and what I see as pain was actually you being saved. If that's true, then I feel a little ashamed, but also relieved, knowing that you get to find peace like your daddy maybe never will. Even still, I'm worried that when I make it to that place, so much time will have passed by that you won't recognize my face. But maybe, just maybe, my sweet little baby, you'll come running right for me, waving a paper and saying, Daddy, I waited so long to tell you how much I love my poem.
All right. Judges, how about some scores? The last poet of the round. Poets, thank you for going so fast, and judges, thank you as well. So how about Farhad? Let me start with you. I'm just picking guys out of the list here. Farhad, what?
8.2.
8.2. Cynthia, how about you?
8.5.
8.5. And Stacey, what do you give?
8.6.
8.6. And Erica, how about you?
8.9.
8.9. And Ace and Adi, will come to you last. What do you have?
10.
And a 10. All right. So Kurt Hardesty, and what do we have, sir? I love Kurt. I love working with you, Kurt. Go ahead. I'm going to be quiet. Tell me what the score is.
That's a 26.0.
26.
I love working with you too, Navi.
It's a those of you out there listening on Facebook, and we've done this for this is the 51st slam. That means we have gone 25 years doing this, and so at least over half of it. I haven't even counted it, but Kurt's been with me, and that's the reason why I am able to do this as well as I can. Before I announce the scores, I wanted to just thank Catherine for a donation, and Beth, you gave us a wonderful donation, very impressive donation. Rosemary, everybody's donation is impressive. Rosemary, you gave a wonderful donation too. Thank you. And Francis, you've given some money. Joan, we want to thank you as well. You've donated. Anne Marie. And Carolyn also have donated. So the donations are coming in. All this money will be divided up with the poets. So jamesnave.com, if you go to my website, you'll see the donation button right there on the homepage. Not only that, but it's a wonderful collage of the poets that you're seeing tonight. So it's worth just going to the website to watch them all appear on the cover page. I'm very pleased with how that design came out. So Kurt, do you want to call out I'll give you the honors of saying who we're going to say goodbye to and who we're going to keep, and then we'll go from there. So Kurt Hardesty, you're on, brother.
All right, we're cutting 6 poets. We have to say goodbye to, in no particular order, Tori, CB, Jerry, Jessica, Jim, and Kisto. So the poets going on are going to be Ed, Roscoe, Justin, Theresa, Jamon, and Breeze. Let's see. The order will be Theresa, Breeze, Ed. Sorry, I should have had all this worked out already.
That's all right. I dropped it on you. I wanted to give you a little time on the screen, Kurt.
That's good. That's fine. Jamon, Justin, and Roscoe.
Yeah, and I want all of you to notice how quickly Kurt Hardesty did that with the drop on that I gave him. So anytime something happens in the slam, especially on the stage, if you all out there in the world listening to us, if any of you have seen the live slams, you will have seen me fumble around like a crazy guy. Kurt Hardesty will give me a little tug and say, Nave, I believe you got that score wrong. Or gee whiz, Nave, what are you doing wandering around out there? Let's get back to the show, that sort of thing. So I just absolutely love Kurt's work. And thanks everybody for donating. I think I'm watching the donations come in. jamesnave.com, and just, donation button. It's a fundraiser for the poets, and it goes, I just send them PayPal money after it's all done. So we keep it in house. So there's a little bit for everybody. And we're going to start with Theresa. You're first. So my friends, welcome Theresa back to the screen. Theresa Davis.
Thank you. Stone. Effigies of these imagined memories cleaned up in the chisel, bas relief. A bust of bronze celebrated ad nauseum like they won. They did not. But they bookmarked the loss of antebellum wonders to remind others where they left off. There could be no losing when rebel stars and stripes and cuts and kill refuse to see their own demise. They know they are not done, because now there are classrooms full of children, churches filled with the Holy Ghost, Black folk denied breathing after the jog, the walk, the sleeping in their own beds. Marble, granite. What better way to make failure look victorious? Imagine it, a success. Carve it on a rock, pretending to be a mountain, a hateful erection larger than life. Call it historical. Call it God's will. Then burn across a top, heads hooded, saving false narratives told over and over again, bedtime stories streaked in fear, dirt, blood, and repetition. Because if you repeat, it's like history sanctioned your willingness to do it all over again. Losers do not raise glasses, they raise themselves. Call it monumental. Place traitors in plain view, a reminder that the South will try to rise again one of these days. Around these parts, they call rocks mountains, call hate speech freedom, claim tiki torch jubilation, holding the past as tight as they hold their guns, commemorating the blood sport only to spill it over the bones of the future dead Black people who wonder if the God they fear is also Black, as they arm themselves in praise of future and past dead white men.
Theresa Davis. Cynthia, what's your score for Theresa, please?
10.
Theresa gets a 10. All right. Stacey, how about you? What did we get for Theresa?
9.5.
9.5. Farhad, how about you?
10.
A 10. And Erica, what are you giving Theresa?
A 9.8.
A 9.8. Ace and Adi, how about you?
9.6.
9.6. Kurt, what's the score for that?
That is a 29.4.
29.4. And I'll add that up in a second. Okay, we have now Breeze coming up. So Breeze, please come to the screen. Thank you so much.
Thank you. For Tiana Parker and girls like Faith Finity, who were removed from school due to rules banning their natural hairstyles. This is the superintendent of Deborah Brown Community Schools speaking to Black America. There are guidelines to being a productive figure in today's society. Acceptable attributes that orchestrate the origin of importance. Our schools teach your kids the tools needed to build success. Things like reading, writing, and arithmetic. When to stand and sit, walk and run. Don't speak unless spoken to. Gotta keep them in line though. Don't stand in line. Don't think outside the lines. Color in the lines. Keep your color within our lines. We are teaching your kids the essentials of social acceptance. So when we tell your daughter that her hair is not presentable, that the royalty evolving in her kinks is a serious distraction from the respectable atmosphere the school strives for. When we suggest she trade her afro puff for pigtail and her locks for a perm, please do not be alarmed, Black America. This is only a history lesson. Social studies, if you will, the teaching of what being too naturally Black can get you. How to get you niggers only employment, get you hanging on to a drive by a thread around your neck, get you slaving for the same cotton your people used to pick. So you must forget your roots, like the roots in your hair, or that root they took the freedom, because you know it ain't free. It cost Toby a foot, it cost Martin a dream. So what's it worth to you? How about the kink in your curl for a quarter? How about the Black power fist at the end of your pick for a penny? Do not allow yourself to be auction blocked out of a career, because you will always be nickel and diamond until you allow yourself to start shucking and jiving. You know what that shucking and jiving will get you? It'll get you a fresh white blouse, house nigga status. It'll Sambo smile your Nat Turner. It'll Barbie your Orisha. It'll Iggy Azalea your Asada. You better straight perm and bleach that little young moonwalker, or we'll be forced to lure and heal you. A Deborah Brown Community School in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Horizon Science Academy in Ohio. We are the foundation for the building blocks of your children's success, teaching your kids that society may not understand their culture, but if you leave it to us, they won't either. We are gentrifying this great nation of ours, opening the doors to better tomorrows, picking one dreaded lock at a time. And you, my dear Black America, where you are all welcome.
Breeze the poet. Judges, tabulate your scores. I want to thank Joanna for her donation. So we have some generous people in the audience. JamesNave.com, if you would like to join that generous crowd who will be funding the poets all the way down to the 12th poet. How about it, Ace and Adi? What do we have for Breeze?
We have 9.8.
A 9.8 for Breeze. Erica, give us something for Breeze.
A 9.4.
9.4 for Breeze. Farhad, what do you offer?
10.
10 from Farhad. Cynthia, you're next.
10.
A 10. And Stacey, how about you?
9.7.
A 9.7. Okay. What do we have for Breeze's scored, Kurt?
That's a 29.5.
29.5. All right. And our next poet up, please welcome back to the screen, Ed Mabry. Ed, you're next.
Kentucky Attorney General Daniel Cameron. I want to say her name, but to say her name in the same sentence as you would somehow put you on parallel elevation. It would make you seem as if you were the same because you shared the same skin. Black man. I'm not asking you to have went against your job. I'm not asking you to do something that would have been considered illegal. However, how big did you see the orange light and glow of Trump's welcoming beacon of a smile pulling you in at the Republican National Conference? Did you actually think his arm around you was somehow Illuminati your way into the next presidency? Do you masturbate at night and say Barack, Barack, Barack as you get closer and closer to your climax? Do you envision the white woman you married to be Michelle? During Halloween in a few days, will she blackface herself and you'll walk around trying to mimic being so? Or did you forget where you come from, so a curse for you? Your first name you beseech and gave up. See, Daniel means God is my judge. So I guess without the rhetoric or the hyperbole of being God-like, I must guide you today. In other words, how could you possibly hide all the facts that were actually there in plain sight? I curse you by always getting a free coupon at your nearest black barbershop. Always recognizing that your haircut is a little off and kilted to the side, nicks on the back as alcohol gets pressed a week at a time for the rest of your life. I curse you that you slip up and say the slain sister's name when you're making love to your wife. I curse you with children as dark as the slain woman is, and not that they actually go out and get shot and killed, because that would actually feed into the kind of mindset you have. But no, I want them to always come home safe and sound, but always come home late from the party, always come home with weed smoke oozing from their body or skin or clothes, but promising you that they never touched the stuff. It's their boyfriend, it's their girlfriend, it was someone else, always wondering if the police sirens that are going as they zip past your house, I'm sorry, your mansion, I'm sorry, the place you live that used to be a plantation will always make you wonder if your babies are coming home safe. I pray and wish you go gray faster than Obama in the White House. I pray and wish you go white faster than, I'm sorry, you already halfway there. Your last name, Cameron, I don't know if you know this is actually Greek for crooked nose, and ain't that some shit? Crooked, like the way you told an entire jury to be quiet. Crooked, like the same when you have steered Louisville into a corner. Crooked, like this nigga saying this ain't from Cincinnati, don't know what it means to cross the bridge over to Kentucky and see the policeman waiting for you. Daniel, I curse you to remember that you have to go to glory one day and see your mother's face and your grandmother's tears as they have still Kentucky dirt underneath their fingernails, and answer to them why you helped kill a black woman when black woman been dying for your black ass for years.
Ed Mabry. And thank you, Cameron from LA, for giving us a donation. We're happy about that. JamesNave.com for those donations. And judges, let's start with Erica. How about you? What do you give for Ed?
A 9.4.
A 9.4 for Ed. Stacey, what do you offer up?
A 10.
A 10. Cynthia, how about you?
9.7.
9.7. Ace and Adi, what do you offer?
A 9.
A 9. And Farhad, how about you?
10.
A 10. All right. Drop the high and drop the low. And we're moving already through this. Gosh, we only have 3 more poets to go in this round. This thing is zippy round. What do we have, Kurt?
That's a 29.1.
29.1. And before we go on, I wanted to make a little bit of an announcement for those of you out there listening. Coming up on Thursday, the 5th of November, I am working with Leaf Global Arts and the Louder Arts Project based out of Brooklyn. And the Louder Arts Project is a project that was started by Lynn Prokop 18 some odd years ago. And it met every Monday evening at Bar 13, University and 13th, just south of Union Square. And I was involved in that community, and Lynn featured many, many poets. And now we're doing the same thing with Leaf Global Arts. So on the 5th of November, we are going to offer the second Leaf Lit Live literary reading series. And we're going to feature Roger Bonaragar from Trinidad. He now lives in Chicago. I've seen Roger win 2 National Poetry Slam championships standing on the stage in front of 2,000 people. They were cheering like he was a rock star. And indeed he was. And then we have Patrick Roselle, who's going to be with us. And Patrick is from New Jersey, and he works with the idea of his Filipino heritage. So he has plenty to offer in that respect. And then we have Rondell Benjamin, and he's a stick fighter who lives in Trinidad, and he combines the mastery of martial arts on multiple levels with music and flow. And then the final poet is Tuli Zuma. She's going to be with us from South Africa. If you pay attention to the South Africa media environment, you will know that Tumi is a television producer and a successful actor, as well as a slam poet who's worked out of New York over the years with many credentials. So those folks are there. JamesNave.com. Just go down to the bottom of my website. You'll see the events page, and you can find out more about that. But we have Leaf Global Arts to thank for that, and we're really, really grateful for that. And let's see, Kurt, where are we? We've already gotten the score here with Ed, right?
Yes, sir. That was a 29.1.
29.1. And I just wanted to take that little commercial break and move on to Jamon Hill. Jamon, you're up next. Please join us on the screen, sir.
Thank you. This is an ode to the nurses in my life. They're on the front lines. Y'all are like David, thrust into an impossible battle, stethoscope like a slingshot, and I'm not gonna lie. From the outside looking in, things look bleak. Coronavirus looms like Goliath, 8 feet tall and deadly, but y'all fight anyway. Fight like God's chosen people. Like there's a nation on your back, y'all fight. Fearless as David, wearing masks as armor. Thank you, thank you, thank you, my nurses. Y'all are the strength behind the stone. The precision in a squinting eye, y'all the steady in a stretched arm, the slack pulled back with the sling. Y'all are America's fighting breath. Like America's one good lung, the last good thing we ever did, like smile, like y'all are the smile, all teeth and gum, y'all the gum that holds us together. Thank you, thank you, thank you, my nurses. Goliath don't stand a chance. He be a mouse amongst a stampede of wildebeest. Y'all are power, our courage, our bravery, our grace, our beautiful, are still not paid enough. As the world opens up, I look to y'all, my nurses, my tornado shelters, my brick walls, my safe havens, Mom. I know difficult ain't even the word. When you are overworked and underpaid and not enough patience for all of these patients, baby. I know this is not the first year of nursing that you asked for. Working overnight in a literal graveyard shift where death is more common than physical contact. I know that y'all did not ask for any of this, and there are days that weigh heavier than the world on Atlas's shoulders, where the dead pile up like stones in your hands, but y'all fight. Y'all fight anyway, like God's chosen people. Y'all are God's chosen people. And that ain't a metaphor. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Jamon Hill.
You do it.
Ace and Audie, what score do you give Jamon? Poets are clapping for
We have
Jamon.
9.6.
A 9.6 for Jamon. Erica, how about you? Can you give us a score, please?
9.5.
9.5. Farhad, we'll take your score next.
9.6.
9.6. Cynthia, what do you offer?
9.8.
9.8. And Stacey, how about you?
9.6.
A 9.6. And Joanne, we want to thank you for your donation. We're getting donations coming along, so that's really great. JamesNave.com. You can see the donation button right in the middle. Kurt, what do we have for Jamon?
It's a 28.8.
28.8. We have two more poets in this round, and we're going to say goodbye to two of them, and then we'll go 4 and then 2, and then we will be finished with this Leaf Slam. Justin Blackburn, please join us on the screen. Welcome, Justin.
Thank you. It's on here. All right, cool. Thank you. It's Christmas coming up, so I want to do this poem about Christmas. It's called White Christmas in My Hometown. Merry White Christmas. You've become your parents. Open up your presents. It's the rest of your life. Your dreams were calling, but you stuck to the system. Now you have no purpose in being alive. Ho, ho, ho. It's White Christmas in my upper middle class cracker hometown. No more snow on the ground, but still covered in white people aplenty. Guess Santa forgot to send the memo down the chimney on each child receiving an equal opportunity. Our system is isolated by class, so the poor children go to the schools that are in poverty. So that means they're not educated properly. So when they say, hire me, you reply, sorry, you're not scholarly. But what you mean is you don't look like me because you're not from my higher class society. How can you not see? That's robbery. He should pull himself up so it don't bother me, says Charlie over here, the rich white man drinking the same beer at the same bar for the last 30 years. I work. White privilege don't put gas in my tank. I know it's hard for your mind, but I ask you to critically think. Your trust fund money came from the motel your grandpa owned. To open it, he got a loan from the bank while black people got redlined. No, it's because he had collateral, which was the land his grandpa gave him, where his grandpa ran his slave plantation, so the money you're spending was made by racism. Whatever, snowflake, I don't care, it don't affect me. Actually, it does, because the way you live unaware of the endless atrocities in our society without empathy for what it puts others through, that's how you treat you. Just as you never challenged your lineage or your privilege, you never questioned your life. Just did as white daddy said without thinking, is this what I want? Is this even what I like? Receiving his validation meant more to you than you creating your own life. Do as I say, get good grades, don't be gay. I love you, daddy. Okay. Don't have emotion. If someone makes you feel, beat them up. Okay, daddy, if I do that, will you love me? You know I don't have love. In that moment, you stopped growing. Time took off into flight. You woke up 20 years later in the same mind that's learned nothing new. You haven't had an original thought since middle school. Until you realize you're the fool, you're holding our whole country back. Life is changed. We're not born to stay the same, but you must feel beyond your reptilian brain to get that. That's the problem. You don't feel it all. Your emotions can't make it through the wall you built to protect yourself from daddy's delusions and your true potential. You're so afraid to step outside your white privilege to your own soul. You're a fucking criminal. So when the heart attack comes, you might think it's unexpected, but no, it's from ignoring your own heart and living in deep, daddy silent self-rejection. So happy holidays. You're still a racist. White privilege eroded your mind. Did as you're told. Now you're old. You're going to need a better savior than Jesus Christ.
Justin Blackburn, my friends. Farhad, we'll start with you.
10.
A 10 for Justin. How about Cynthia following up? Yes.
9.9.
A 9.9. Stacey.
9.8.
9.8. Erica
9.9.
and Asenadi.
9.6.
9.6. Okay, Kurt. And I'd like to thank John for his donation, and Alston, your donation came in, so we really appreciate it. JamesNave.com. My friend Anne Marie McConnell just sent me a text, and she said, "Spell your name, Nave. It's spelled Nave. It was Nave until somebody said you should change it to Nave. It sounds better." Lo and behold, I found that to be true until I discovered that Nave in French means little turnip or bad movie. So I don't know. You go figure all that. Meanwhile, Kurt, what do we have for Justin?
That's a 29.6.
29.6. Will that keep him in the round? We don't know. Roscoe, you are the last poet in this round, and we are so glad to have you on the screen. Please welcome Roscoe.
An ode to the black ass poems, because there's been a lot of black ass poems. Ed had a black ass poem, Theresa had a black ass poem, Breeze had a black ass poem. Hell, even the white poets have had black ass poems. Okay, and I get it. I mean, I'm guilty of it too. I mean, shit is fucked up. We see it all the time on the news, but sometimes, y'all, I mean, I gotta be honest, sometimes I just wanna write a regular ass poem. Sometimes I wanna write a regular ass poem. I want my poem's ass to be regular. I wanna write a sports poem. I want to write a sports poem without talking about runaway field niggas to niggas running on the field, or trying to buy all that freedom out of that free labor, or balling out at a combine. It feels more like an auction block where they scan your biceps and thighs for the biggest and the strongest bucks so you can play for the Redskins, the Washington football team, or the Bucks for the big bucks, but can't stand up for a cause that'll clip you at the kneecap. God damn it, I am talking about black shit again. That seems to be the theme for tonight. Okay, I want to write a music poem. I want to write a music poem, but not like a rap music poem, because that's way too black. Not a soul music poem, that's way too black. I want to write a poem like a country music poem. I love country music, but not that taking my horse to the old town road, not that shit. I mean the classics, y'all. Johnny Cash and Bob Dylan. Side note, did you know that Bob Dylan said one of his biggest influences was Odetta? Odetta, a black woman folk singer who made the genre popular. Odetta, a black woman folk singer who was persecuted for anti-American songs during times of war. Meanwhile, Bob Dylan gets praised for anti-American songs during times of war. But I'm guessing that guitar strings sound a little different when it's cotton in your jeans and not under your nails. And nowadays, country music is all 10-gallon hats and cowboy boots, which is still very black, since during the Wild West era, 1 in 4 cowboys was African-American. That's a real statistic. You can Google that shit. It's really hard not seeing my skin in everything. I am a father, which makes my kids little beautiful black-ass poems. And it also means that in America, they are 28 times more likely to be shot 28 times by the time they turn 28. I am an educator, and my students are all beautiful little black-ass poems. There are all these like Robert Frost, these chocolate dipped Robert Frost cliches. Their neighborhoods look like the roads less traveled. And white poets get to write about all the fun shit. Haikus about Star Wars and shit. Poems about Starbucks and shit. Cool. I mean, I want to do it too. I got a haiku. I prefer my Jedi same way I prefer my coffee, black as fuck. Damn it, that's some black shit again. You know, if you want all the angry ass black ass poets to stop writing all the angry ass black ass poems, stop giving us so much material.
Roscoe Burnham's last poet in this round. And all the poets are clapping. One of the things out there, when you folks out there listening to us and watching this slam, you probably have already noticed how much everybody cares about each other here. There's some fantastic friendships that get made in this slam. And the slam community has been going on since 1984, when it was first invented in Chicago, and it has continued on. And this slam that you're watching tonight is a continuation of the Asheville Poetry Slam, which was started in 1991 and 92 by Alan Wolfe, Ginger West, Lee Lancaster, and I also was part of that group. And there are some people on the show tonight, I think, tuning in who were there watching it. So we're thankful for you, everybody who's part of the slam community, and most especially we're thankful for those of you listening, because you were part of the slam community too. And it's a really important thing. Kurt, what do we have for Roscoe?
We need some scores first.
Oh, scores. Shit. Forgot. Sorry. I got carried away with my sentimentality. Apologies. Thank you, Kurt, for keeping me on.
That's all good.
Don't hire me as your accountant. The Little Turnip and Bad Movie. That's Nave. N-A-V-E. JamesNave.com for donations. Stacey, how about a little donation of a score, please?
9.6.
A 9.6. Cynthia, what do you have for us?
9.7.
9.7. Farhad, how about you?
10.
He gives it a 10. All right. Erica, what about you?
10.
A 10. And Ace and Adi, what are you offering up?
10.
10. All right. So drop the high, drop the low, and Kurt, give us that score. I'd like to thank Carolyn for a donation. We've done really well with our donations. The money all goes to the poets. It's a great nonprofit thing. Just to poet, and I see. I see everybody smiling and happy about that, and Cherie is most happy. Thank you, Cherie, Leaf Global Arts, for doing this. We appreciate all that support. What do we have for Roscoe?
That is a 29.7.
What's the Hume score on that?
Hume score is a 57.2.
57.2. Let's see what we have here. It looks to me like, from what I can tell, not to put you on the spot, Mr. Hardesty, but it looks like we're going to say goodbye to Roscoe and Justin.
That's
Is
right.
that correct? So my friends out there, Roscoe and Justin, these poets are all, as you can see, well practiced, and they've been in it a long time, and all the poets are clapping, and there's really no winners. I mentioned Alan Wolfe, who started the Asheville Poetry Slam, and he's the one who coined the phrase, the points are not the point is poetry. And that's still, to this day, people carry that around. We have 4 poets in this round, so we have 6 more poems to go before this show is over. Any donations you'd like to give, JamesNave.com. Nave spelled N-A-V-E. Little Turnip. No, it's Nave, N-A-V-E. But you can refer to me as Little Turnip. And even if you get to know me, you can affectionately call me Bad Movie. Kurt, what's the order for the poets in this round?
We will go same order as last round. Theresa, Breeze, Ed, and then Jamon.
Okay, so we have Theresa, Breeze, Ed, and Jamon, and we are off. Please welcome Theresa Davis back to the screen. Theresa, you're not live. We've lost your vocals, I think. Little glitch. Cherie, what do we have there? Can you help out? This is one of these things that happens at Leaf Slam. Teresa's doing something. Why don't we move? Then we'll just if that's okay with all the poets, because this is Zoom time, we'll move to Breeze. And Breeze, you come up, and then Theresa, you can follow Breeze. I hope that's okay. We don't usually do that, but given technology, I hope you all understand, and we will keep the show going. So, Breeze, you give it a run, and then Theresa, we'll get to you as soon as your sound comes. So, Breeze, you're on. Something's going on here. Cherie, can you give us a vocal? We're not getting Breeze either.
Can you hear me?
Okay, I can hear somebody, yes.
Yeah, that's me now.
That's
good. And I'm asking Breeze to unmute.
Breeze, can you unmute and come on to video? Breeze, are you there? Theresa, okay, wait a second, here comes Breeze. Okay, Breeze is up. Theresa, we'll pick you up after Breeze. Okay, Breeze, take it away.
Thank you. To the white woman on Twitter who said, and quote, "This is just another example of Black supremacy." And as I write this poem, I notice that this black pen I'm writing with don't seem to trust this paper no more. Wonders if the white of this canvas will use its privilege to reword this pen spilled blood. I mean ink. Like white things tend to do more and more these days. We are all just really wanting to know what exactly in the fresh lily white foolish fuck did you mean by black supremacy? Unless you meant my grandmama's sweet potato pie. Unless you meant my auntie's fried chicken, or the love and genius created in a black mama kitchen must be somewhere in their prayer closet. How anywhere their knees touch seems to ascend black supremacy. You must mean ascension. How still we rise even under the weight of so much hate. How we climbed out of a 400+ year grave and still be so live and so lit. Black supremacy. You must mean how we magician. All that black boy joy and black girl magic, and how it conjures up some way out of no way. Because y'all know how Baby D sell we do hair and babysit out the same house, and they still don't know where to kick the dough in at. How pig feet and chitless can sound so much like 2 fish and 5 loaves. Our Harlem constructed an entire renaissance out of being unheard black supremacy. You must mean how we stay winning, like a Viola Davis, Taraji Henson group piece. Like it's a ray of pride shining all bright at the image, like I'm rooting for everybody black. I am like Serena being queen enough to serve while crowning black supremacy. You have to mean the opposite of white supremacy, right? Because it ain't church shootings or church bombings or Trump votes or trying to snatch God from us after we found a reflection of her, a black woman, in ourselves when y'all tried to shackle us to the weapon that is religion in the first place. Black supremacy does not mean loving my culture means yours is inferior as you steal and appropriate everything in my so-called inferior culture. Black supremacy is not a hate group. It's not KKK hoods covering up cops, politicians, lawyers, or judges. Black supremacy be a love group. The strength and patience of Diamond Reynolds watching Philando die in front of her eyes. The intuition of Corin Gaines' 5-year-old knowingly asking, are these cops here to kill us? Black supremacy has to be in this melanin, somewhere embedded in this skin and forgiveness, because your ass is still here making dumb Twitter comments about stupid shit like this, because we still ain't went to war yet. Come banging down your door yet. We still ain't burnt this bitch down. So come again. What exactly in the whole heap of white privilege hell did you mean by black supremacy? Oh, I thought that's what the fuck you meant.
Breeze the poet. All right. Asenati, what do you give Breeze? Judges, we thank you so much for this. Asenati, what's the score?
9.6.
A 9.6 for Breeze. Erica, how about you? What do you give for Breeze?
A 9.8.
A 9 point, is that, I hear 8?
Yes.
9.8. Okay, Farhad, how about you?
10.
Farhad gives a 10. Cynthia, give us a score, please.
10.
A 10. And Stacey, what do you offer?
A 10.
A 10. All right. We've raised so far $586.41. That's after the percentages, the 3% we have to pay to Facebook. So, I mean, to PayPal. So thanks to all of you people out there who've donated. JamesNave.com, NAVE. You'll see the donation button right at the center of the fold. And if you can't afford to donate, go there anyway and look at all those beautiful poets. It's a wonderful collage. What's the score for Breeze?
That's a 29.8.
29.8 for Breeze. Theresa, let's come back to
you. Hear
you.
me?
Yes, we can hear you, Teresa.
Woo!
I'm
That's
so
the backup
glad.
phone because storms.
Teresa worked it out. Come on. Okay, Teresa is back with us on the screen. Are we going to be able to see your picture as well, Teresa, or are you on the phone?
Can you see me?
Oh, yes. Oh, we have 2 Teresas. Yes, Teresa's up. Okay, you did well. All right. That's quick work. Theresa Davis, my friends.
Thank you. Cops. Noun. A small wood. The floor said, did you know I used to be a tree? Arms upright, touching the sky, swaying to the beat of breezes until the men came. With their weapons of destruction, they cut me down in my prime. They took away my roots. They took my stretching arms, took my skin, made me a dead, flat thing. When they drove metal through my flesh, I found I could still feel. I feel it. Every time they walk across my face, I felt you, brown girl, the way you took off your shoes before lightly stepping across my body and act so full of respect. I thought, I knew you would listen, knew you would hear what others can or will not. I saw your brother once, brown girl. He stood tall and proud until that man came. With an axe the likes I'd never been seen before, he aimed it at your brother, sent metal through his exploding flesh, cut him down. There was so much blood. I had a brother too once, brown girl. He stood right next to me. We two stood tall and proud and wild and family. And then men, they bent his flesh, made him box, placed your brother inside. When they bury your brother inside of mine, a brown seed in the brown earth, girl, what will he grow into? I hope not a tree. Not to live the same death twice. They have planted so many of you. An entire forest. Thank you.
Theresa Davis. Stacey, do you have a score for us, please?
9.4.
9.4. Cynthia, how about you?
9.9.
9.9. Farhad?
10.
A 10. Erica?
A 10.
A 10. And Asanati, what do you offer up?
9.8.
9.8. Okay. And I'd like to thank Yellow Sulphur Springs for a wonderful donation. And Caitlin, you also sent a donation. We acknowledge you as well. Thank you. Thank you so much. This is a community effort, my friends. This is also being broadcast on WPVM FM 103.7 out of Asheville, North Carolina, on their Facebook page. That's the community radio I do a weekly radio show from. It's community radio, like Leaf is community gathering, and the Slam community. What do we have for Theresa?
That's a 29.7.
29.7 for Theresa. Ed, please return to the screen. Welcome, Ed Mayberry, my friends.
Hey, so this is the part where we announced that me and Jamon are mapped out because it's cumulative for the first 3 rounds. So we're just going to chit chat for a second, shall we? Because math is a beautiful thing and math cannot be defeated, not once, not ever. So big ups to the judges and everyone else, and shout out to the poets, and always the best poets who ever did this is Jim Dwyer. One of these days he's going to win one and get a Lifetime Achievement Award. If you ever give me one, I'm giving it to his ass because he's the best poet in every fucking slam we do. So let's chit chat for my 3 minutes I got, shall we? Awesome. 1, I pray you peace. I pray you happiness. I pray you joy. I pray whoever's watching this right now with a smile on their face, that your smile be stuck on your face at least for the next 24 hours. I pray that if you're currently rolling your eyes, that they fall out your fucking head. I pray that if you have an attitude that someone younger than you, dumber than you, and probably totally undeserving your attention slaps that attitude right out of your mouth. I pray that your wallet always be full, or at least have something in it more than what you need. I pray that someone kisses you one day and it actually makes you weak at the knees. I hope that no one ever drinks your bathwater because that's some nasty shit. But I hope that someone is willing to drink you in with their eyes and look at you and love you the same way Kirk and Jerry look at each other. I pray to one day have the same kind of love such as that. I'm intensely jealous every time I see them. I pray that one day my father hugs me the same way Jim Dwyer has every time he sees me. I pray that my father, maybe the next lifetime, is actually Jim Dwyer. Not because he's done everything right in this life, but because he's willing to his mistakes. And he taught me the most valuable lesson I've ever learned outside of church. And he said to me one day to leave, he said, Ed, may never any of us ever get what we truly deserve. So my biggest prayer to you is that you never get what you truly deserve. I hope you get everything you need and 1 or 2 things that you want. I hope you get the real reason why we slam. I hope you get the real purpose as to why you get scores. I hope you get the purpose to scores. I hope you get the purpose to poems. That be the judges and the poets and the staff alike. I hope that one day the Lake Eaton Arts Festival actually goes back to Lake Eaton. I hope that the coronavirus gets its ass kicked by whatever the next disease is. I hope the next disease comes, we're more prepared for it because the next disease is right around the corner, getting dressed and clearing its throats to sing like the fat lady was never here. I pray that each and every one of us makes love at least one more time before we die, and it'd be the last time we needed it because it was so pure and precious. I pray one day that my hair be at least as long as Theresa's banana, say it's thick, mine is thin, just work out like that. I pray that paintings behind me, such as Tamira Rice, never ever have to be painted again. I hope that every Black person on this planet simply dies from old age. I hope we all simply just die from old age, and not with our family surrounding us, because we were probably fucking in that last moment, getting one last good hurrah in so we could come and go at the same time. I pray for peace, love, and understanding. I pray that you actually hear in this poem that you are you. I pray that you get over yourself. I pray that you fall in love with yourself. I pray for peace, love, and understanding for everybody on this planet. Amen.
Yeah. Ed Mabry. Judges, are you ready? Stacey, tell us what you give Ed.
9.2.
A 9.2. Cynthia, what do you give Ed?
9.
A 9. Farhad, how about you?
10.
A 10. Erica.
9.7.
And Asenadi, what do you give Ed?
9.8.
9.8. Okay, Kurt, what's the drop your high, drop your low score?
That's a 28.7.
28.7 for Ed. We are now up to $614.94. Thank you, everybody, for donating. Let me, and we have Annie. She, actually, we need to bring that up to $714. Annie just made a donation. So we're doing really well here, folks. The poets are going to have more than gas money. Not that you need any gas money. Where are you going these days? You know, maybe you need some new shoes so you can go walking. Jaman, please be the last poet in this round. Welcome Jaman Hill to the screen.
Thank you. Before I tell you my story, let me ask you this question. If the body is a temple, can a temple be a body? How many times have we passed the dead, left there to rot, wealth, such an evil thing, passed down from generation to generation to generation like poverty, like stories, like sickness, like ghosts, like here, where I'm from. Not gentrification, but the moments before the wreckage of what once was and will be we, Black and so beautiful. Our elders carry estates on their tongues. They speak life into the rubble, into the empty where I'm from. The vacant buildings tell stories the white folk won't. They hold history in the hollow of their happiness. Yes, they are happy. Their memory banks only know melanin. Mama say they used to tear the floor up on city nights. Lights would beckon their temples to this body and everyone danced to its heartbeat if you listen. These days, you can hear the wind whispering between burnt wood. It plays the tune our ancestors cut rugs to. You can still hear Eddie running through the halls at night, his voice drowning. You can sip the same bottle God pulled Paul out of hell. We all fighting temptations, racists, viruses, Satan. One night, we danced till our souls caught fire and never came back. Sometimes I feel it. The temples in my body, they dance. They move to the melody of nostalgia. They tell me I am them and they is we, or we is we. Sound fury, sound love, sound grace, sound sweat, sound lights, sound spirits unbottled, brazen tongues, sound music, sound bodies swaying like buildings, swaying like bodies, one in the same wind. is the last time you saw a temple desecrated? What lies were you told? White folks will try to tell you a body ain't worth nothing till they find a way to use it. Somebody lied to me, told me a building was just a building right before a white person came and turned it into a slave. Like the walls ain't storing memories. Like the floors ain't birthed galaxies. Like the roof ain't a spaceship. Like we ain't never seen it open up and every soul we lost come pouring in. This temple be bloodline. This temple be power. This temple be cousin. It's time for a family reunion.
Jamon Hill finishing this round, and the judges, I appreciate what you're doing, judges. You're quick, fast, and attentive, and that really means a lot. Stacey, what do you have for us, please?
9.6.
A 9.6. Cynthia, what do you have?
9.5.
Ace and Audie, how about you?
9.2.
Farhad, what do you have?
9.6.
9.6. And Erica, how about you?
A 9.7.
9.7. Okay, Jamon. Going to drop the high and drop the low. I'm also going to thank Des and Stacey for their donation. And Robert, you also donated as well. We're almost at I think we're at $750 right now, minus after PayPal takes their cut. So a little bit of cash to all the poets, which is always helpful. What do we have for Jamon?
That's a 28.7.
28.7. What's the cum on that, sir? I think I know who's going to be. We're going to the two points for the last round. It's going to be sudden death. That means whoever has the highest score wins. What's Jamon's score, Kurt?
87.0 cumulative.
7.0 cum. So we are going to say goodbye to. We're going to say goodbye to Jamon Hill and Ed Mabry, and I'm going to say about both of these men. Poets. I've known them a long time. Jamon has won a few of the Leaf Slams, and by golly, he's a screenwriter and he teaches in a university and he does all kinds of wonderful things. And Ed Mabry, Ed has won the Leaf Slam 10 times at least, maybe more. We don't even know. So Ed, you've been with us a long time, and other poets that have been with us tonight have been around for a long time. Jerry Hardesty, I want to thank you, Jerry. Jerry has been on the Leaf stage forever, and she always brings fantastic material, and she knows how to just bring it out. And I don't think, Jerry, I don't think you've ever won the slam, but you have won everybody's heart, and we really, really, really appreciate you. And I second, and I just second the vote or third the vote for you and all the rest of the people we've said goodbye to tonight. These are the regular folks. And Roscoe, you are the first time appearing here, and we welcome you. So thank you, Roscoe, for being with us. And we're sorry that you're not in this last round. We do have two poets, and if I'm not mistaken, Kurt, they both have an 89.1. Is that true?
That's right. They're tied.
They're tied. So Theresa Davis and Breeze are tied, which does not matter. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shuffle these two cards, and I'm going to shuffle them like crazy. And when Kurt Hardesty says stop, that's the first poet to go. And so, Kurt, it's up to you to say stop, sometime before dawn.
Stop.
Oh, I stopped. All right. Theresa Davis, you're first. Breeze, you are second. There's the way it goes. All right. So, my friends, we have arrived at the final round. So, put your attention to the screen.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Theresa is on. Put your attention to the screen. Theresa did fix her technology, and welcome Theresa Davis in the final round. Opening it up, Theresa Davis.
Hypocrisy Suite Movement 2, Tithes in A minor for my sperm donor. 41 years ago. Today, I will ask if I can go to the movies with a boy I like. Today, you will insist that I go to Planned Parenthood, self-medicate my need to lose my virginity when I explain that it's just a movie with a friend, that I'm not interested in sex. You will quote Corinthians 6:18, flee from sexual immorality. Every sin a person commits is outside the body, but the sexually immoral person sins against his own body. You will lecture me about temptation. You will remind me about Eve. When I mention that I think that it's actually Adam who broke the rule, you will call me blasphemous, demand I get saved, repent. Tomorrow, you and your former mistress turned wife will watch porn until you orgasm. Punish me for overhearing. Remind me of my sinner ways. At church, you will force me to talk to the pastor. I will tell him everything you think I am not brave enough to say. I will ask, Pastor, who are the sinners here? And he will not answer. And I will not question his bravery, but I make sure we have an understanding. I smirk just a little. When the pastor's sermon speaks of giving into the flesh, congratulate myself for being his inspiration, get a little sick. When you and the woman you cheated on my mother with amen in harmony, I'll catch the pastor's eye, mouth the word hypocrite, as your former mistress catches the Holy Spirit. In her holy dance, she makes the same sounds she makes during orgasm. I wonder if her God approves of all the ways she comes.
Theresa Davis. All right, in the last round. Okay, judges. Cynthia, what do you have to say?
9.9.
9.9. Stacey, what do you offer up?
9.6.
Farhad, what do you have?
10.
A 10. Erica, what do you offer?
A 9.7.
9.7. And Asenadi, what do you have?
9.6.
9.6. Okay, Kurt, drop the high, drop the low. And what do we have?
That's a 29.2.
29.2. All right. Last poet in the 51st Leaf Global Arts Poetry Slam Fall Festival Virtual. Please welcome Breeze the Poet to the screen.
Thank you. My son Kamari loves, hard and brave. His love heals all and conquers everything. My son Kamari, he loves just like his daddy. True story. One day at his mother's house, he sits on my lap. She walks past and playfully shoves him. He hops off, gives chase towards love that he knows loves him back just like he loves. But then I watch him learn what running so freely towards love will do to you if you do not watch where you are going. She reached back and smacked him. The impact incinerated his innocence. It was a direct hit. You could look at his face melting like I got hit with a nuclear weapon. You could tell he was too busy loving to know that there was a war going on. And now I am forced to flee from the enchantment of my son's freedom. Be reminded of all the times when I thought it was love in the air, how the explosion hit me, how the shrapnel of a broken heart can rip through everything about you beautiful. And I remember how I loved anyway. How I busted Shanetta out of the city and held our dreams behind bars, but our talks of forever must have felt to her like confinement. Because she broke out of us, left me a prisoner in my own home, and I had to watch her date other men while living with me. I remember it all. and how I loved anyway. Like when Tonisha told me that that guy she was with was her aunt's boyfriend and not hers. Or when my ex-wife handed me the phone so I could have a conversation with the guy I was sharing her orgasms with. I remember it all. And how I loved anyway. And I just get scared. What am I supposed to teach my son about love? I can't tell him that it conquers all when the only thing that's constantly defeated is me. I can't tell him that it heals all when this open wound of a heart just keeps falling into all the wrong salty palms. Can't save him from the homicidal hands that'll just end up smacking the life out of his ability to love right like his mom did. All I can do is tell my son to love anyway, like his daddy. See, through all the shots to the heart I've taken, you can see I am still here, son, loving hard, and I ain't dead yet. Love anyway, like it has never done anything wrong, because you will never be wrong loving people who do not deserve it. You will only be wrong to stop loving when you yourself are so deserving of love. What I will tell my son of love is to love anyway. Be a hero, son. You be a purple-hearted kind of honor that leaves no love lost or left behind because of you are not fighting for love. You are only fighting against it, and I simply refuse to raise you to become somebody else's war.
Breeze the poet. Okay, the last poet in this round. Judges, can you give us your scores? We will begin with Farhad. What are you scoring?
10.
Farhad's giving a 10. Cynthia, how about you?
10.
Stacey, what about you?
9.8.
9.8. Ace and Adi, how about you?
9.8.
9.8. Okay, Kurt, can you do the additional?
One more score.
Wait a minute, did I miss somebody? Stacey, Cynthia, Farhad, Erica. Erica, did I get you?
You did not.
I'm sorry, apologies. I'm going down my list and I got a little excited. My apologies. Erica, what's your score, please?
A 10.
A 10. Okay, thank you, Erica. So what do we have, Mr. Hardesty?
29.8.
29.8. Well, my friends, that concludes the Poetry Slam, and Theresa Davis, you come in second with a 29.2, and Breeze the Poet wins with a 29.8. So bravo for Breeze. I don't know, Breeze, is this the first time you've won a Leaf Slam?
First time it's competed with.
Breeze, I believe it is, isn't it?
Hey, oh my God, thank y'all so much. Yeah, I've come in second before, I've come in fourth before, I've been on like the final four like a couple times, but this is the first time I've won.
Breeze the Poet has worked very hard over the years to do this, so we are really thrilled to have you. And the judges, I want to thank you. Farhad, you are on the board of directors, I think, of Leaf, or you're deep in the Leaf world, and Cynthia, I appreciate you being on. I've not met you before, so I'm glad that you've decided to be with us. And
it was an honor to be here. Thank you.
And I know you must do some entertainment stuff. Is that correct? Are you?
That is correct. I'm a 3-time Grammy-nominated singer.
Wow.
I'm considered the Erykah Badu of gospel and a friend of Cherie's.
So how do people find you if they want to know more about your work? I thought you had that comfort level of somebody that's been in front of the camera before. So how do we find you?
You can find me at CynthiaJones.com. I am Cynthia Jones, Pandora, iTunes, Spotify, just everywhere. I cut my hair, so just look for me with the big fro. But
okay, so you now have joined the monastery along with the rest of the shaved-headed people. Is that what it is?
I love it. I love it.
I know there's a lot of freedom in it. I know exactly what you're talking about. So let's see, Stacey, what about you? Do you have anything you'd like to say? We appreciate you so much for being here. I think Stacey's kind of off the screen at the moment, but if you want to chime in, you're welcome to do it, Stacey.
Hi, everyone.
Oh, there's Stacey saying hi, everyone. Thank you, Stacey, for your good work. And Ace and Adi, I know you do a lot of things. I think you may be in the entertainment business too, but I'm not sure. If you want to give a shout out to that, if you please.
I'm Adi the Monk, guitar player. And this is Ace, Lady Ace, the singer. She's also the owner of So and So, a sewing shop in East Asheville. And we also perform together, and we're part of a new group called Himalaya Soul.
Okay, great. So we've had a great range of judges, some newcomers to the entertainment business, and then some seasoned virtuosos. And we have Kurt Hardesty and we have Cherie to thank for Leaf Global Arts. And I did want to say that we did raise $756.83. And if anybody wants to go to jamesnave.com and give a little bit more, we'll divide that up amongst the poets. And I'd like to remind you to please tune in on the 5th of November, and for Leaf Global Arts, presenting with Louder Arts Project, the Leaf Lit Live literary reading series, and it's going to be a wonderful thing. South Africa, some Philippines will be represented, and certainly Trinidad with Lynn Prokop, Roger Bonet-Argar, and Rondell Benjamin. Tuli Zuma from South Africa, and Patrick Roselle speaking for Jersey City, as well as for his family roots in the Philippines. I have some deep connections in the Philippines too. I've driven my car down EDSA, Adi and Ace more than once in Manila. So I have some, not like you all if you've driven there, but I do know a bit about the traffic in Manila. I know a whole lot about the poetry community and the poetry slam community, and a whole lot about Leaf, and a whole lot about what everybody does here. And Kurt, I want to thank you very much for being there. Please just recognize Kurt Hardesty, because we could not do this without him. We really appreciate it. And all the rest of you out there, thank you so much for tuning in. We really do need you out there in the world to tune into all of this, because you support us, we support you. And I thank you so much for being part of the 51st Leaf Poetry Slam. My name is James Nave, Nave, N-A-V-E, meaning little turnip in French, or bad movie. So hopefully you'll remember that, jamesnave.com. You can go to my website, make a donation, also go down to the bottom of the page and see the next event. And so I believe that concludes our evening. And thank you ever so much for tuning in. And I will see you somewhere down the line. All blessings, love, and prayers, and be well as you go forth in the evening. Thank you, Cherie.
Thank you, Nave.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nave.
Thank you. Happy Leaf.
Thank you.
Love everybody. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, everyone. Thank y'all so much.
Bye.
Congratulations, Reese.
Probably off
Thank
the
you
air.
all.
I don't know,
Thank
but
you so much, Theresa.
Thank you.
and I'll be in touch with all of you all and divvy up the things, and we'll listen to some gospel. We'll go to Ms. Jones' site and hear some songs. Shaved heads and
I'm
all.
not your regular gospel artist, so
Somehow I suspect you. Why would I think such a thing?
I'm
love
not
to have
your
my.
traditional.
I love to.
Call me the sanctified Erica Badu of gospel.
I would love to call you that. I heard this. We're probably off the air right now, but I do want to say something. I had a wonderful